to share something with you that might put me in a very negative light. Yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something, completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.
Oscar Bevis, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Dave Coldwell joins me via Zoom. Dave, thanks for giving me some of your time. We're going to jump straight into the obvious. We now know that Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn won't fight on Saturday night at the O2. There's so much to kind of go through, and we could timeline it, but just starting with what we've found out in the last hour, that it's not going ahead. In your opinion, just first off, is that a correct decision?
100%. 100%. I don't see how it can go. I don't see how it could be a credible fight by allowing it to go ahead on Saturday night. So the right decision has been made. Unfortunately, it affects a lot of people that throughout no control of their own. It's ruined everything. Time spent, training camps, finances spent on training, nutrition, S&C coaches, time away from families. So many sacrifices that fighters make, and I'm talking about the guys on the undercard that are on enough money to tide them over for a few months until the next fight. Opponents that are on even less money, where they rely on that as paying bills and things like that. Everybody throughout the card that isn't a superstar needed Saturday night as a wage. Coming up to Christmas, coming up to the end of the year, there's bills to be paid right now. All them guys have put everything into it, and through no fault of their own, the show's being cancelled. Then you've got Chris Eubank Jr., who's, for whatever whatever the games he's played with his social media and things like that, he's done everything right. He's put everything on the line. He's worked incredibly hard. Don't buy into this 60% bullshit. He's worked incredibly hard, and again, through no fault of his own, the fight is off, and the money that he was going to get is gone. And then also, and I know he's getting loads of shit, but Eddie and Matchroom, the guys at Matchroom, forget about Eddie and him, but the guys at Matchroom, the team, they put a lot of work into it. I've seen what they do. I've seen what Frank Warren and his team do when they're putting shows together. It's a big operation, but you see the work they put into this and the money that's gone into it from a promotion point of view, from a TV network point of view. Nobody's a winner here. Nobody's a winner here. But ultimately, it's the right decision, and it's the only decision. And the dragging it out and all that sort of stuff, I don't know the facts and why it's dragged out as much as it is. So it's difficult to comment when you're just on the outside looking in. But it's just the whole, it had to be cancelled, mate. It had to be.
Let's take it back to yesterday about midday when the Daily Mail article came out. What was your initial reaction, other than shock like the rest of us? What was your initial reaction when you saw that article for the first time?
I received a text first, and I was like, what? I was coming out of the gym, just finished with the lads, and I'm going to the gym, another gym for me to train myself, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, no way. Shocked, absolutely gutted, because you know the impact of what this is, and the shitstorm that, once again, a sport that I love is going to go into. And from a fan's point of view, listen, 2 tickets for myself and my missus, was going down on Saturday afternoon to get there Saturday. I'll be honest with you, the card, I wasn't there for the undercard. I was there for that one fight. I was there as a fan watching on TV when Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank went at it. 2 days after, 1990, 2 days after, I walked into Brendan's gym for the first time. That was the fight. That was the one where I was like, no, I'm going. And so this fight for me was just, you know, you watch Conor Benn, you watch Eubank, and all the build-ups. The build-ups were brilliant, all the edits and everything. And you're watching, and I'm seeing the dads, and I was so excited about this fight. And so I'm gutted as well. I'm gutted as a fan. Gutted as somebody, gutted for the sport, as somebody that's involved in the sport and somebody that earns his living out of the sport, because it's a massive, massive kick in the nuts of the sport. But as a fan, which is what I am for this fight, I'm gutted, absolutely gutted.
Yeah, I mean, the general consensus is kind of what you're saying, that the show shouldn't have gone ahead. There was kind of maybe last night and a bit of a period this morning where we thought that it could go ahead under a different sanctioning body. So that Luxembourg one that we heard about, BIBA, etc. I know the board said it isn't in the interest of boxing, so they kind of wrote themselves out. When them other boards were brought into play, just kind of your thoughts on them trying to get round it, if you were, just to make sure this fight went ahead.
It would have been bollocks. It would have been really bad if that was when I saw a statement from Eddie saying that he wasn't. If the board said no, then the fight would be cancelled. Then it was like, okay, cool. That's the way it should be, because by doing that, I just don't think it's right. If we're governed by the Board of Control, then you adhere to you know, their jurisdiction and their decision. By going down another route, it was just wrong for me, and I just felt as though yeah, it's hard for me to say because I don't know all the facts behind it and everything, but that would have been a wrong thing to do. And also I never thought that could happen, because you have to be, so the undercard fighters, everybody, you have to, when you're boxing on a foreign show, be it in another country or on a foreign promoter show over here, then you have to get a permission to box abroad, or a permission to box on a foreign show license off the Board of Control. So if the Board of Control is saying the fight and the show can't go ahead, the fight can't go ahead, I don't think it was the show, I think it was a fight they were saying, then those fighters are allowed to get a license elsewhere and then be given permission to get a license off somebody else, or they lose their licenses. That's it.
So it's bigger than just Benn and Eubank as well. I didn't really think about this.
No, I think, yeah, but I think maybe I'm wrong in that where maybe the board wouldn't sanction the fight, but perhaps the show. So if the show's all right, then all the guys on the card are still boxing the British Boxing Board of Control jurisdiction, possibly. But then again, no, if they're bringing in Luxembourg as well, then the whole show would have been that bad. Yeah, so everybody has to get permission from the board to box on a different license. Sorry, I weren't sure which one they sanctioned, by the way. But yeah, it's Friday today, mate. It's just like last 48 hours, 24 hours or whatever. It's just been, it's been a lot. I mean, I'm not even involved in it. Listen, the guys on the undercard, are we boxing? Aren't we boxing? Are we boxing? Aren't we boxing? You know, the main event, the promoters, everybody involved in this event. The last 24 hours, their heads must be absolutely fucked, because mine is, and I'm there as a fan and there as somebody that's involved in boxing away from this event. And I'm like, wow, because I'm getting information, I'm getting, you know, questions asked to me and everything left, right, and centre. Yeah, to go to the gym and people are asking you, coming up to why in between your sets and what are you doing? People are asking, oh, what's going on with this? Oh, everywhere. So, you know, it's been crazy. It's been crazy. So a little bit confused on a few things.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's kind of just been information, floods of information coming out in little bits. I'm interested to know what you think the impact will be on the sport as a whole, because we've had people test positive for substances before. Some have been banned and come back. Some have never been banned in the first place. But we've always ended up with the sport kind of being okay. I suppose people have a short-term memory in some sense, but this is very mainstream, Conor and Chris. It's not, it's not a fight that's for the boxing casuals. It's a very mainstream fight. I'm just wondering if you think there will ever be a point where it affects boxing, because boxing has become such a machine that can it just continue in this way and this happens every couple of years? Because it's never really affected it so far.
Well, it's like you get it in other sports, don't you, where people fail drugs tests. Athletics was a big one. I remember Ben Johnson failing in the '88 Olympics, I think it was, Seoul Olympics, I think. And he had a massive rivalry, him and Carl Lewis, and it was massive. And it beats Carl Lewis and breaks the world record, and then fails the drug test, and everything. It was massive, but things move on, and it's the same with boxing. But the thing is, though, when you're in athletics and things like that, they face a proper ban, a lengthy ban. In boxing, we're very, very inconsistent. So you can have fighters that are juiced up to the max, and they literally get in a 6-month ban or a couple of month ban, which is basically a hand injury or something like that, or a postponed fight. And then you can get, I think Liam Cameron got done for 4 years for having a trace of coke out of, I think it was out of, I might be wrong, but it's a long time ago, but it might have been out of competition. But regardless, he got busted for a trace of coke, which isn't a performance enhancer as such. So it's very, very inconsistent. And this is the problem for me with this sport, is that we keep saying it. I keep, saying I believe that you should have drugs categorized, and not like the police do with Cat A, B, whatever drugs, and the sentences go in accordance to what category those you get caught for. Perhaps it's time to do that with boxing, and so if you do get caught with that, here you go. And if you've got the fear that it's going to be a stiff, you go to Middle East, in certain places in the Middle East, and you rob a pencil case, you're probably going to get your hand chopped off. You ain't going to places like that and doing any robbing because you don't want to run that risk. But it's like, if you've got no real sentencing, which is a lot of the kids tend to find when they are doing a bit of shoplifting or robbing houses and things like that, or then that's why they've got no fear of it. And it's kind of like, I know it's different, but it's kind of like that in sport. I think there are that many people that are involved in the sport now, that are around fighters now as well, that are giving them advice, nutrition advice, this advice, blah blah blah. You need to make sure that the people that you have around you know what they're giving you, know what's what. I'm not talking about this case. I'm talking about in other cases, and it needs to be done properly.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of last point was going to lead into my next question. I saw something online, I'm not sure if you saw it, where there was a doctor who listed his clients, some of them being professional boxers that we know. Obviously, you work with, it's Danny who does like your boys S&C, and I'm sure he knows what goes into their body, etc. You said there's too many people, and I suppose in a sense that could be right, but is it about being, like, I'm not one to say anything because scientifically this is way above my head, right? But surely it's about getting the right people around you, and I don't know, surely it just makes it would be classed as common sense.
Ultimately, you are responsible for what goes into your body. If somebody comes to me and says, "Here, take that vitamin," before I have anything, I'll research it. I want to research it myself and understand what it's going to do for me. Everything, I take vitamins. I take vitamins for myself. I'm a 47-year-old man, for my health, for my well-being, for my life. But I know everything that I put into my body. I know what it does. I research it before I take it. If you're an athlete, you should be doing that yourself. I don't care if you're a nutritionist or whoever it is that looks after that kind of things for you, tells you here, take this, it'll help you recover, it's all natural, this is it. Number one, is it on the informed sport list? My guys, if it's not, if whatever they take, if it's not on informed sport, they don't touch it. Simple as that. And that's right down to that. That is simple. If it's not batch tested on informed sport, don't take it. But then research what it is you're being asked to take. That is ultimately up to you. Now, if you're going to go along and if you're going to see people and be involved with people that have got a, you know, that are involved with or doing stuff that could be seen to be bending, breaking rules, then again, or if somebody's asking you to go, oh, I think this guy could help you to do this. I think this guy could help. Fucking research who they are and know exactly what it is they do. And then if what they do is gonna cast shade on you, don't do it. Don't get involved in it. You know? But unfortunately, people are advised by loads of different people now in boxing. Boxers, there's so many people around fighters now. A lot of fighters, not all fighters. And so sometimes things happen like that. I don't know. Listen, I'm not in this situation. I don't know what's gone off. I don't know what's happened. All I know is what I would do. My fighters that I train only work with people that I trust 100%, and people I know the shit. You know, boxing science. They actually have a scientist on board that knows everything. You know, and the nutritionists that we work with, you know, the same. We don't work with people that are just yeah, I've just passed me course as a nutritionist. This. Oh, can I come work with fighters? Get asked. That's great. That's great. We need more new people coming to sport and stuff like that. But I don't know you. You've got no body of work. You're not working with my fighters. And I get that everyone's going to start somewhere. But when you're talking about bringing other people on board, these fighters teams keep growing. You know, a lot of fighters. The more money they get, the more people they have on board to advise them, to do this with them, to do that with them. Oh, this is a good idea. Why, you know, man, you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful. And you might listen. I'm not saying that that is for this case. I'm not saying that, but just in general, just it's there's too much at stake.
One other thing as well, we've got that issue with a UKAD test being passed and a Vada one not. Yet Vada not having. Yeah, I was going to say, just kind of your take on that.
It's bollocks. Why is it? Why is it that 1 minute Vada it's not worth 2 fucking pieces of shit? What is that about? What if it's not worth? If it's not worth if the result that you get off of Vada is not worth it, why are you paying? I think I heard him say something like it's 35 grand or something like that, you know, to have them on board for a show or something. I can't remember how much it is, but it costs some money. So why are you signing up to it, and why are you having them if it's costing you money, if it's not worth?
Just for public image, do you reckon? Because obviously in boxing we've just come to know that Vada means you're clean if you pass a Vada test. So for public image, having Vada even just on board looks.
Yeah, but where's your public image? Is if you fail on Vada, then you just disregard the test. Why are the again? I don't know why, but if I'm hearing right, the border control don't recognise Vada,
No.
Vada, whichever one it is. But why? But why? Why is it that they're not? This where the board don't explain shit. It's not even about letting the fans know. Let us know. We work in the sport, but why? Okay, why do you not recognise their test? Fighters failed on their test, so you're not saying you can't recognise that as a failed test because you don't sign up to them or whatever. I don't get it. So therefore, is not suspended, so, but if he's not suspended, but then you're cancelling, you're prohibiting the show, you're fucking yourself as an organisation. Surely, if you're the governing body, and do you know what? There's that much. I might even be wrong, but as far as my understanding is that they don't recognise Vada their testing, so that's why he's not being suspended. He's not being seen to have had a violation of anything because the board don't recognise that. So why are they in there? Why are them testers even there? If you're not going to recognise them, why are they there? As the promoter, as you know, as the event, why are you going to have them there? It's like saying, I don't know. I don't even. Do you know what? I don't even know. I'm just confused with it all because it makes the board and everything around it look like they haven't got a clue what they're doing. You know, so you can pass the UKAD test, but what difference that made? If I took a Vada, WADA, or whoever it is drug test on Thursday the 12th, and I failed it, and on the 19th I took a UKAD test and I passed it, oh, it's all right. Sounds fine. Fucking, what's the big problem? I'm right now, I've got nothing in my system. I'm fine. But I did a few days ago. So that all right then? That's fine. And the problem is, it's like, listen, I'm a massive Eubank-Benn fan. I'm a massive Eubank-Benn. I'm genuinely a fan of the kid. I always have been, and I like him. I like him as a person. I like him as a fighter. Big fan. Been looking forward to this fight massively. But at the end of the day, you've got to look at something and say, how is that right? Why is that right? Obviously, it's your man. You've got to. You're doing everything you can to back for him, and let's get this sorted and everything. I get that, but while you're getting it sorted, you can't go on with the show. You can't go on with the fight if you fail the test. If you fail the test, you can't, because otherwise, what is the point in having a drugs test? What is the point? Because if you're going to fail a drugs test, don't worry about it. Get the fight done, and then we'll sort it out after. Well, you failed the drugs test, so you're fighting. Your opponent's fighting a guy that's failed his drugs test. The fight happens, what? And then after, yeah, we did. Yeah, it was a failed drugs test. Yeah, you can't do that. You failed a drugs test. That's it. Fight is done. And it's all right. People saying, if one of your fights would be different, mate. It is what it is. There's a reason why there's a drugs test. And if you fail the drugs test, then the whole point of having a drugs test is making sure that you step into that ring clean. You run that race clean. You got the whole reason of it is for that. Now, you have your drug test after the fight, yes, but the random testing in competition, in between, whatever, right? If you fail that drugs test, you failed. And I get the whole, yeah, he's got time to for an investigation. But what I'm saying is, if there was a failed test, you can't go and fight. Fucking 3 days after that news is broke, you can't go and fight. Because what's the point? Just my opinion, but I just don't see what the point is in a drugs test if you're just going to ignore the result.
In terms of the fight, let's just say theoretically it does get rescheduled for, be it a month's time, be it next year. Is it tainted in any way? And I'm not talking about the whole legacy of Ben Eubank, just this fight. Is it tainted in any way, even if, because people will remember for the short term at least? Is it tainted in any way?
This is right. So this is a problem. There is because we don't know all the ins and outs of it. So you've got to leave a little window open and say, well, it could have been this, it could have been that. I don't know, because I don't know what it is. But forget people going on about B test. The B test is the same as it's the same piss. So for those that are out there that don't understand, drugs test containers. You have 2 containers. You whip your knob out, you have a piss, you start pissing, then it'll say stop, replace, stop, swap, piss. Same train, same piss. So they fill them up both to a certain amount, both have caps put on, can't break the seals, right? So you've got pot A, pot B. Off they go to the lab. So you test pot A. If that fails, then they go and test pot B, just in the event, just in case, through transition, whatever, testing, if it was contaminated. Because sometimes, and I believe once or twice, it has happened, but don't quote me on that. But sometimes, or the possibility is that pot A was contaminated. So when they go to pot B, it's the same piss, remember? So if pot B's clear, then really, it's like, fucking, well, it's clear. It's the same piss. Because it can. You don't know. You know, listen, so I'm not saying it can, but it can't be. It can. Something could get contaminated. You never know, right? So pot A could. It's like, I don't know, fucking. It can happen where your pot just gets contaminated. It's got another trace of something or whatever. I don't know, but it's the same piss. So if you've got a trace in that, it'll. And if you've done, you know, if you have done something, if you piss as the piss has come out, if there is something in your system that is in pot A, it will be in pot B. That's the easiest way for me to explain it, I think. But if pot A has been contaminated with something, an outside element in transition, whatever, and pot B is clear, well, you have got a clear test because it's the same piss. It's not a different piss.
Yeah. Just one more thing from me, Dave. Obviously, hindsight is a wonderful thing. A lot of people will come out of this not looking very good, perhaps. How should this have been dealt with in your eye?
I don't know, because I don't know timeline yet. I'm hearing different things about when the test was taken, when the results will come back, because you obviously get tested, then there's a while before the results come back, and then you're informed. And then from when you're informed, then it's like, right, you failed the test. That from that point, then really, I think it should be a case of, right, fucking contingency planning kit, as in fucking the event, the what we're going to do here. I think it could have been handled better, but that's just my opinion.
I'm going to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something, completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.